So example 3 is a perfect example of when it is a good idea to use quadratic formula. The reason why is because look at the numbers that they give you. If you look at the numbers in this equation, I'm seeing 0.01, 0.5, we see some larger numbers here, but because they're decimals, I'm not going to factor that. I'm not going to use completing the square. I know that quadratic formula, all I got to do is take the numbers and plug them in. So that way you don't even have to worry about trying to fix the decimals to make them be something that you can actually work with. So once again, I got to move the 120 over. Okay. So what is that? That is negative 23. No, 13. Hold on, let me erase here. 13 equals to 0. So A is 0.01 positive, B is 0.05, C is negative 13. Now, if for some reason you are missing any one of those pieces, let's say for some reason we didn't have this middle piece, you would just plug in a 0, and that's fine. Okay, we haven't come across one of those yet, but if it does happen, you just plug in 0 and it'll still work. So let's go scroll down. They already have it all worked out for us. This is a perfect example. Look at these answers that they have at the bottom. Okay, you have approximately or a rounded number of 18.9 and negative 68.9. For this is a great one for quadratic formula. Okay, because you get rounded decimal answers. So that's your two answers there. Okay, let's go back to the original problem, make sure that we are answering the question. Okay, it says if Siko's blood pressure is 120, how old might she be? In this case, one of these answers is not going to work. She can't be negative 68. It's not going to work. She's almost 19. So make sure when you're doing word problems that it makes sense for the context of the problem. Okay. And we already did that, so we can skip that right along. So let's go ahead and try this one. Okay. So let's go ahead. They want us to see who can get the most hang time when throwing the ball. The trajectory of his throw is given by this equation. It has one decimal in it. So I like quadratic formula for this one. It says H is the height of the ball. T is the time after throwing. Solve the equation using quadratic formula, eliminating any extraneous solutions. Extraneous basically means it doesn't work for the original problem. So that's where you get like negative age, negative height, negative time, that sort of thing. Things that don't necessarily make sense. Round your answers to the nearest tenth. So that's one decimal place. So let's go ahead and figure this one out. So right off the bat, it's already in the standard form that I want. A is negative 16. B is 95. Oops, that looks like an 8. 5. And C is 5.2. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and plug them in. I'm not going to write down the quadratic formula because we don't have a whole lot of room here. So negative 9.5 plus or minus 9.5 squared minus 4 times negative 16 times 5.2. Oop. And then all divided by 2 times negative 16. Okay. So once again, going to plug the entire square root into the calculator. And I don't know the answer, so I'm going to go ahead and do it now. Okay, 9.5 squared minus 4 times negative 16 times 5.2. I got negative 9.5 plus or minus. I got square root of 423.05. Don't round to the very end. Okay. Scroll down a little bit. We're just going to write on the words here. So I'm going to go ahead and take the square root of that number. So It's going to be a decimal. 423.05 is roughly 20.57 rounded. Okay. One thing that I know is that the negative version of this answer is not going to work. Okay. So I'm going to not even calculate that entirely. Okay, I'm just going to calculate the positive one. You can technically get both answers, but you're going to have to cross one out anyways. And since we're running out of room, I know the minus sign one is not going to work. So I'm going to just take negative 9.5 plus 20.57 divided by negative 30. Oh, that's not the one I want. Yeah, that negative is going to throw a wrench in things. Because I'm going to have a positive number on the top and then a negative number on the bottom, and that's going to give me a negative number. So I do want the minus sign. So let's erase this. Put the minus sign back in, because that's the one I actually want. And I'm going to go ahead and calculate it. So 9.5 negative minus 20.57 equals divided by negative 32. I got 0.94. 0.94 seconds. 0.94 seconds. And there we go.